Hi, Rashid Kapadia here with an eloquence tip on a Wednesday. Now, 55 years ago, 55 years and 3 days ago, historians tell us that John F. Kennedy gave a speech called A Strategy of Peace, which marked a turning point in the Cold War when finally the combatants stepped back from an abyss and said, enough, we have to find a way to peace. While this may not be amongst his most famous speeches, the Strategy of Peace speech, which is also called the American University speech, it is widely recorded as one of the most marvelous works of oratory, and I strongly recommend that you listen to it and read it. But today, as a student of eloquence, I want to point out not just the historical significance of this speech, which it has plenty, or for the fact that I believe Ted Sorensen, the speechwriter, said that this was amongst, if not their favorite Kennedy speech. What he has done here is he has mixed three mindsets and he stitched them together so seamlessly that unless you're looking out for them, you don't even realize what's happening. First, he is the daring visionary, sets out a huge vision. He maintains that pragmatic optimism. So that's one. You'll find some of the sentences are soaring, vision, and optimistic. Simultaneously, he does not shy away from, but he confronts pessimism as something that we all have to deal with. He does it. And most important, he anchors the entire speech, hard anchors in pragmatism, in rationality, and in reality. Now, this is going to be a slightly longer clip. Please bear with me. It's very unusual that I'll go this long. But what I want to do is I'll close out with a 3-minute clip of JFK himself. But I'll go across 3 or 4 sentences in each category. And I hope when you're listening to the speech, you'll realize how useful this technique is to mix all these mindsets, these attitudes into your communication. So let me start, and I'll be reading out a bit. I want to be perfect on the words. So here are some sentences which set the soaring vision, the optimism. Today, I'm here to talk about the most important topic on earth, world peace. I'm speaking not merely peace for Americans, but peace for all men and women. Not merely peace in our time, but peace for all time. Then he goes on to say, and man can be as big as he wants to be. Another line from the speech. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Here's another lovely one. Man's reason and spirit have often solved the seemingly impossible, and we believe that they can do it again. So here are a few examples of setting a soaring vision combined with optimism. Now here he confronts pessimism. Some say it is useless to speak of world peace or of world law or disarmament, and it will be useless until our opponents adopt a more enlightened attitude. I hope they do. I believe we can help them to do it. Here's an example. Here's another one. Too many of us, we think that peace is impossible. Too many think it is unreal. But that is a dangerous and a defeatist belief. It leads us to the conclusion that war is inevitable, that mankind is doomed, that we are gripped by forces we cannot control. We need not accept that view. All right, and the last section is pragmatism. Pragmatism, rationality, and reality. I speak of peace, therefore, as the necessary rational end of rational men. Lovely. Here's a superb one. I realize that the pursuit of peace is not as dramatic as the pursuit of war. And frequently, the words of the pursuer fall on deaf ears. But we have no more urgent task. Here's another one. I believe we must also re-examine our own attitudes as individuals and as a nation, for our attitude is as essential as our opponents. Another one. Our problems are man-made, and therefore they can be solved by man. Here's another one. I am not referring to an absolute, infinite concept of peace and goodwill, of which some fantasies and phonetics dream. Now, I do not deny the value of hopes and dreams, but we merely invite discouragement and incredulity by making that our only and immediate goal. Here's just a few examples. It's 20 plus minute speech, and you can see these three approaches seamlessly and marvelously stitched together, woven together. It's a speech worth studying. You can draw much of the power of public speaking and its structure by making a sincere effort to learn this speech and what made it great. Now, here's 3 minutes, just 3 minutes of John F. Kennedy.
I have therefore chosen this time and place to discuss a topic on which ignorance too often abounds and the truth too rarely perceived, and that is the most important topic on earth, peace. What kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we seek? Not a Pax Americana, enforced on the world by American weapons of war, not the peace of the grave or the security of the slave. I am talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living, the kind that enables men and nations to grow and to hope and build a better life for their children. Not merely peace for Americans, but peace for all men and women. Not merely peace in our time, but peace in all time. I speak of peace, therefore, as the necessary, rational end of rational men. I realize the pursuit of peace is not as dramatic as the pursuit of war, and frequently the words of the pursuers fall on deaf ears, but we have no more urgent task. Some say that it is useless to speak of peace, or world law, or world disarmament, and that it will be useless until the leaders of the Soviet Union adopt a more enlightened attitude. I hope they do. I believe we can help them do it. But I also believe that we must re-examine our own attitudes as individuals and as a nation, for our attitude is as essential as theirs. Too many of us think it is impossible. Too many think it is unreal. But that is a dangerous, defeatist belief. It leads to the conclusion that war is inevitable, that mankind is doomed, that we are gripped by forces we cannot control. We need not accept that view. Our problems are man-made. Therefore, they can be solved by man, and man can be as big as he wants. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Man's reason and spirit have often solved the seemingly unsolvable, and we believe they can do it again. I am not referring to the absolute, infinite concept of universal peace and goodwill, of which some fantasies and fanatics dream. I do not deny the value of hopes and dreams, but we merely invite discouragement and incredulity by making that our only and immediate goal.
I'm back once again. I apologize for this being such a long video clip, but it's just a small fraction of what I can touch on for a very, very important speech from which we can learn much about the power of persuasion through communication. Good luck.